What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Work to Wellness to Wealth podcast. Listen, I got some fire for you all tonight. You know, I always try to bring you top tier information to help you, number one, improve your financial literacy. Number two, help ease some of that anxiety you may have about your financial future. And number three, to just help you build wealth. So tonight I have a special guest. I'm going to bring him out in a few minutes. And we're going to talk about this subject right here. Is life insurance really necessary? Think about that. Is it really necessary and why? So we're going to jump into that tonight. But before I get started, as always, let me do my financial disclaimer. I, neither my guests, we're not financial advisors, and the information that we're about to share with you is for information and educational purposes. So we do highly encourage you to consult with your own financial advisor, to do your own due diligence and make sure that you acquire the skills of an advisor who's aware of the particulars of your financial situation. So just want to always remind you, make sure that you go and fact check, do your own due diligence. But I promise you, we're going to have some fire information for you tonight that's going to really help you go to that next level in your finances and really in your life as well. So without any further ado, I am going to bring my man, my dude, out on the stage. Mr. Damon Gordon, affectionately to me known as Dame. Dude, what's going on, man? How you feeling tonight?
Jay, man, it's amazing, man. A privilege to be on this platform with you, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm excited about what we're about to jump into tonight, and excited that we've been working on this for a while, man. I've been
Uh,
working to get Dame on here for a couple of months now, and so sometimes it just takes some time to get some things worked out, schedules. But hey, everything came together, and he's on here now, and he has some fire information to share with you. Just to give you all a little bit of background, man. I met Dame. How long ago was it that we met at working out at One
what
Life
Life
together,
Fitness?
man? How long has that been?
Man, Jarod, we met, it had to be at least 3 years, maybe four,
Yeah,
maybe four. And come to find out, we just kept crossing paths and, you know, we could tell that we were, brothers in Christ just by the way we interacted with each other. And one thing led to another. We exchanged numbers and kept in contact with each other, and ever so often turned a little bit more rapid, a little bit more frequent, you know, and got a chance to break bread with you earlier part of this year.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's been extremely fruitful ever since, and I'm just grateful that you even see fit to even, allow me to be able to share this information because a lot of this is information that I've had to live through instead of actually learning in a formal classroom.
Yeah,
So,
that's good, man. And that's when you know it's authentic when it's
hmm
something that you've lived. So yeah, we about to jump into this. Let me just say this though. One thing, man, and I really admire and appreciate this about you, man. Your energy, your whole presence is like infectious. Like it really demands attention. Before I even met you in the gym, I just always used to look how other people engage with you and your signature trademark, man. Like Dame has a way of shaking your hand. It's just like, my man. And he pull you in and just give you a real strong embrace. And I'll never forget that about you, man. It was just almost like a peak experience just being able to shake your hand and get into your space and to have that embrace as brothers. And man, I just saw that everyone that you came in contact with in that gym, you did that. And that those little things like that, man, that really made a
mm,
significant mark on me, and it just spoke volumes of just who you were as a person and your energy. And of course, when I finally met you myself, everything was confirmed and lined up. So I just wanted to
oh,
say that before we got started, man. But just appreciate you being who you
man,
are and
man,
the energy you bring to the table, man.
you too kind. You know I'm gonna get you back for that, right? You know I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna let you have that right now, but I'm gonna get you back.
Hey, man, I'm gonna get it in there. But Dame, let's jump into this conversation about
Sure.
life insurance, man. There's a lot of information out there, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't take action just because they just don't know, or they may have the wrong information, or they may have
True.
misinformation. So
True.
I wanted to kind of frame our conversation tonight with the question like, is life insurance really necessary, and what is life insurance? So let's start with, before we get into that, let's start with your story first. So if you could just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and like, how did you even get into this whole life insurance business and industry? So just tell us a little bit of your story from where you came from and how you got to where you are.
Well, as everyone knows, I'm Damon Gordon. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, of course. I live in Georgia now. And life insurance has always been something my brother and I were raised in a single family household by my grandmother. And she did teach us about keeping your affairs in order, having life insurance and so forth. But I never knew the differences, never knew the intricate details of that. And it was never really something that I was even interested in terms of, I knew that was a profession, but I was a football player at heart,
Right,
but not,
right.
I was a football player at heart, but not in actuality. But that was something, in terms of this industry, that if you were to ask me, that would be one of the last things I would have been involved in, which is financial, literacy, financial services. And, that was something that, I really want to say it chose me,
Okay.
and just fast forward it, um, even before I even got involved in it, my dad passed away and didn't have any back in 2005. And
Wow. I know a
yeah,
lot of people are probably in that situation, man. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the conversation, though.
yeah. So my dad passed away in 2005. And that was really the very first time I really felt the sting. You see what I'm saying? And even though I was here, my mind was there in Michigan. My brother was trying to handle a lot of the affairs concerning my dad, and it turned out that this was the first time that really it felt. I really felt the pain of it because it was the last goodbye that I would have had with him, and that goodbye left my family with a bill.
Ooh, man.
Yeah,
That's powerful, man, because they're not thinking about that while they're here, but to the audience. And I will say, Dame, sometimes, if you say something powerful, man, I might just have to cut in just to
that's
expound on
fine.
some of the things that you say while the thought is still there. But what you said is so important, because a lot of times we don't think about the condition that we're going to leave those who survive us in based on the decisions that we're making now. But yeah, that's good, man. But continue.
Yeah. So that was the very first time I really I felt the pain of that. And he wasn't married. Him and my mom got divorced, and they neither one of them got never got remarried again. And of course, it was because my brother and I were his only children. It was up to us to figure that out. And life insurance, what I've seen is one of those things that is better to have it and not need it versus you need it and not have it.
Oh boy, that's a bar right there, man.
You get what I'm saying? And the uncertainty that left was something that never will leave you. Now, because ever since then, there's been more a crusade behind that. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more how I got involved in that crusade, but just seeing that and living that, I can give you the book answer, but I can also give you more the life experience of that. And the life experience of that is something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy,
Wow.
period.
Not your worst enemy. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. So that must be something significant.
Right. So just fast forward that, from that experience, that it had me in a space of knowing that it was something that I needed to get in place. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say I immediately rushed out or looked to try to find to get something in place, but I knew that how important it was. And I didn't know, like a lot of people, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to be connected into that space to make sure that my family was future was secure. I didn't know. I wasn't in that space. I didn't have a guideline, didn't have a layout of that. And even though it was discussed in my household with my grandmother, it still wasn't something that was introduced for me to be able to speak with someone directly that could help me in that. So I still was in the space that of having a need in place, but not having that need to be fulfilled.
Man,
All right.
that's good.
So yeah, so we'll fast forward 4 years later. One of my best friends to this day, Mike Turner, said, "Hey, I'm involved in this, involved in this industry. We can make a lot of money together." And when you start making, when you start thinking about making a lot of money, my ears perked up. During that time, I was at it. I was during that time I was working at too many dead end jobs. I didn't have the goals and ambitions as somebody that's in their 30s that should be established should have. I was aimless with my approach, and anything that I can grab hold to that would fortify me as a man, I was reaching for. Because at that, I was at this age where I should know better. I should not be in a situation to where I don't know where to turn, don't know where to go. I should already have myself established in terms of where my career path is at.
Man, damn, let me stop you there because I think we all get to that place, and I had a similar experience. Like you reach a place in life and you start to reflect back on, you start reflecting on where you are and where you came from, and I know I left away with the same feeling when I did that, and it was like at my 10-year mark of working, I just felt like, dang, I'm supposed to be further along than this, man. Like, and that 10 years turned to 20 years, and then that sense of anxiety start to set in. It's just like, man, the days of my life are slipping by, and it doesn't seem like I'm making any progress. But one thing that you said that was so powerful, you just found yourself in a place where you just didn't know and you didn't have access to the information. But for where you are now, I'm so glad that you didn't stop there. And that's one thing that we want to really impress upon those of you who are listening. Not knowing isn't a reason to stay in a state of not knowing, because the access to the information is there, but you got to take some steps and initiative to go and seek out the things that you don't know, because ignorance is very expensive. Go ahead, Damon. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 no. You're fine. You're fine. I got sucked in myself. But anyway, so during that process, when he introduced me to financial services, you know, I saw the need in that. I saw the really one of the biggest draws I saw besides you being able to leave in a state, because life insurance is the only product on the market that you can leave in immediate estate. In the layman's terms, immediate amount of a cash influx in the event that you pass away. Provided everything on the contract that you signed, the life insurance contract is 100% true. It's the only product on the market that you can buy in immediate estate. Is really the biggest thing that I started to look at in terms of that, because I told you, with my dad, he left everybody a bill, and if it wasn't for my aunt and my uncle, who knows where that situation would have turned, because I was I was hundreds of miles away. My dad passed away in Detroit, and here I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm hundreds miles away, not being able to be present to be able to make sure that things are actually in order. And my brother at the time, he didn't know where to turn to because my dad was distant. He was disconnected, from that. So that left everybody within the immediate family to pick up the pieces. And the pieces, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man. I got about 10 thoughts rolling through my head now, but I'm gonna let you finish your thought, and then I'll share what I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah. So it left everybody to pick up the pieces. And that's not something that people look for, but just knowing that there is an expiration date for everybody. I'm gonna
Mm.
repeat that one more time.
Say that
There's
again.
there's an expiration date for everybody. And you either leaving people debt or a safety net.
Dang,
Period.
man. Goodness gracious. You said so many things. There's an expiration date for everybody. And the other part of that equation is you don't know when that's going to be.
You don't know when that's gonna be.
And I'm thinking, of course, bless his soul, Malcolm Jamal Warner comes to mind. When he started that morning, he didn't think that the next day I'm not going to be here anymore. His family didn't think that. And I know we had one of the brothers at the church that we attend who just unexpectedly passed away. So I say that to say, like you said, that time is coming for all of us, and we don't know where it is. But something else that you said that was so important is that your father, he didn't have those conversations with you all, and that's something that we really want to impress upon you all. We got to start having these conversations of what am I leaving in place for when I'm not here anymore, or what preparations am I going to leave to make sure that those who survive me can continue moving and, like you said, not stuck with a bill or a debt. So just want to encourage you all who are listening. Listen, we got to start having these conversations, because we all going to have to walk this road of transitioning out of here one day, and you just want to make sure that you leave your loved ones in the best position possible. Damon, let's do this, because you talked a little bit about some of the benefits of having life insurance, but if we could back up a step and if you could fill in some of the pieces
Sure.
to that person, depending on we may have some younger listeners who really don't know what life insurance is or how it works or why it's important. Could you, like, on a real elementary level, just explain to an individual what exactly is life insurance and how does it work?
Okay. So we can get into the different, we'll go into the what the life insurance is, how it works in the different types. Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
So you have the different types of life insurance, which is term, IUL, and cash value. In no particular order, term is just pure insurance, is just there for a period of time, which will allow you to be able to accumulate separately. You put your wealth, the strategy is for you to keep your wealth away from your insurance. So you keep your insurance low, which is pure insurance, and you keep your investments separately from your insurance. And that strategy, which we have found to be the most effective strategy to be able to accumulate wealth, because you're keeping your investments separate from your insurance. Cash value, the whole ideology is to actually allow you to be able to accumulate cash into your life insurance. And with that, many times you hear the term of, well, permanent insurance.
Is that synonymous with whole life? Is that the same
Yes.
thing? Okay.
Yes. Oh, it's synonymous with whole life. So
Okay.
whole
Okay.
life cash value is the same bucket. Okay.
Okay.
So that allows you, in theory, allows you to be able to accumulate cash and with your life insurance. Um, and having that all inclusive in your policy to where you can borrow from it after so many years, you'll be able to borrow from it. Typically, the minimum amount of years is, what I've seen with insurance companies is at least 2 years before you're able to start borrowing from your policy. And with that, you borrow from the policy, which takes away from the face value of the policy. Okay. And you have to pay it back with interest. IULs, the whole thing about that is that you're supposed to actually have like an investment component with your life insurance. Okay. And that has a little bit more sophistication to it, but it's all pretty much works the same as a whole life policy, to where you can take money from it after, provided you actually have so many years with that policy or with the company the way it was written up. But the base of it is the same, in which you have your investment or your savings component with your life insurance,
Okay. Okay.
and that is considered to be permanent or whole life insurance.
That's good. Appreciate you breaking that down. Let's paint the picture, man. So, what's the difference in the life of a person and what happens after they die for a person, let's say John, who doesn't have insurance, versus Ray, who does? So, after they pass, what's the difference? What's going to be the difference in experience of those families for somebody who has insurance versus somebody who doesn't have insurance? So people can get more of a idea of how does insurance work. The basic one, I think, like you said, the term insurance. How does it
Sure.
work after a person dies versus someone who didn't have it?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the book answer. And I'm gonna give you what I've experienced
Okay.
firsthand.
All right.
Okay, so in no particular order, the book answer is someone passes away. Life insurance, first of all, is a contract. Okay, so as long as everything on that contract is correct, okay, and within the first 2 years, okay, you're it is a 2 year contestability period within the first 2 years. That's standard across the board with life insurance companies. Okay. Again, 2 year contestability period for life insurance within the first 2 years. Okay. Anything within that first 2 years can be contested, and it can or will be contested with the life insurance company. Okay, because it's a contract. Now, the difference of that is if John Doe passes away, long as everything on that contract is what it states it should be, that life insurance company has an obligation to pay the beneficiary. Okay. Now, one of the things I want to just go a little bit into detail, I always recommend people to do a policy review, an annual policy review, because people have life changing events. People get married. Okay. People get divorced. People buy homes. People form businesses. So sometimes people want to have a beneficiary as the business. Sometimes you want to have the beneficiary as your place of worship. Okay. There's different ways in which you can structure your policy in that way. Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, well, just finish up the point where I'm saying in terms of this, John Doe, he actually has his affairs in order. He passes away. Everything is in place. His wife, children, anybody he has on the policy as a beneficiary receive the policy proceeds tax free.
Y'all catch that? Tax
Okay.
free. Very
So
important point.
So again, this is tax free. Okay. Now, mind you, there's some other particular matters that reason why people would actually get a life insurance policy, because if you have an estate, like it varies. Like in Tennessee, for instance, the if you have a net worth of over $5 million or more, you'll be charging this estate tax. So a lot of times people, even if people that are wealthy, will have a life insurance policy in place to pay the estate tax. So
Mm.
so there's also that variation as well, because people don't want to actually have their stocks or bonds or mutual funds, all those different things, to be held up to the beneficiary because you have to pay an estate tax. You see what I'm saying? So
That's
there's
good. That's good. That's good.
yeah,
You made me think about something. Those taxes are still gonna have to be paid.
it's still, those taxes still have to be paid.
Paid
So a
on.
lot of times, yeah. So a lot of times people will get life insurance policies or keep them on there, even if they are self-insured, even if they do have a certain amount of money, they'll keep the life insurance in place because they understand that as soon as they pass away, because the amount of wealth they have accumulated, it's going to be a taxable event. You see what I'm saying? Based upon whatever they have remaining, they're going to have a situation that's going to be taxable. So instead of them having their loved ones to have money held up unnecessarily, they'll get a life insurance policy to take care of the estate tax that they can pay so that we can move on with the rest of our life.
That's a
You get what
high
I'm saying?
level conversation here, man. But
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
you all are missing out if you don't have. There's so many levels that what I'm hearing you say that life insurance can work in your favor on so many different levels now and long after you're gone. Good point. That's so good. Let me ask
And
you this. So, what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about life insurance that you would like to bring some clarity to?
one of the biggest misconceptions that you're too young to get it.
Do you have to be a certain age? That's a good question.
No, you can, with the company, and I'm not allowed to, share or try to endorse the company that I'm affiliated with, but you can be you can get insured as young as you're 5 days old, or in some companies it'll be 14 days old. I always recommend people, and the thing is that some people may feel like it's a little morbid to have a conversation about that, about getting life insurance on your child as soon as they're born.
We
But
got to get over that though,
but
Dame, man, and
yes,
hopefully we can start that here. We got to get over that.
yes. And here's one of the reasons why. Some, and regrettably speaking, some children end up developing different, unfortunately, developing different medical problems or different diseases and so forth that makes them uninsurable. I'm going to repeat that again. Life insurance is not a guarantee that you can get because you can be uninsurable.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Back up, man, because you saying something important here. Because I mean, so you mean to tell me getting life insurance isn't an automatic? So go into that. What would make a person uninsurable, and even for adults, what might prevent them from being able to get in life insurance? So y'all catch that. It's not automatic. There are some things that could cause you or prevent you from being able to qualify for life insurance. Dame, go into that.
Okay. So just being upfront with you, sometimes, like for instance, my brother, I'm gonna give you a real life example. My brother was uninsurable for the longest. At the age of 9, he was diagnosed with children diabetes. So I'm not just a lot of the things that, and this is one of the reasons why I don't want to make this a conversation because anybody that actually has their own belief system believes what they believe. But I know that God chose me for this because it's been too many quote unquote coincidence that I've actually, or too many things that I have crossed paths with that have been so impactful in my life. Like get back to my brother, he had children diabetes, in which I don't know if there's anything greater than that in terms of the level of, in terms of him being a diabetic before he passed. But children diabetes is the worst, from what I've heard, is the worst kind of diabetes that you can have. Though those that level of being a diabetic, people lose limbs, they lose their sight, they have all different other sort of um, health complications with that. And I lived that with him because, and many times as when I was 7 to 8 years old, to a certain 7 to 8 years old, all the way to him and I went separate ways. Many times when we were in his household, I stood as a caretaker for him because his blood sugar, when his blood sugar would drop down, I had to be there for him to fix food for him, whether if it was making him a quick sandwich or grabbing him a snack, just for his blood sugar to be regulated. You see what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too far into that. What I'm saying is that was just an example of, in his situation, because of the illness that he had, he was uninsurable.
So let's make an important point there. A very important point. So there is a correlation between your level of health and your ability to qualify for life insurance. So the worse your health is, and Dame, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the worse your health is, either the more you're going to have to pay for insurance, or the less likely you're going to be to qualify for insurance. So you got to think, if they're in the sense insuring your life, if your health is in really bad shape, and it's not a likelihood that you're going to live for a long time, they might not want to take insurance out on you just because of your current health condition. So there's
Correct.
a whole nother aspect of this, is this, like, even to position yourself to qualify or to be able to take advantage of quality life insurance, you have to take care of your health as well. And that's why I always like to incorporate the wellness part in this podcast. It's called the Work to Wellness to Wealth podcast. It's just like, wellness is the linchpin to you being able to work, and it's the linchpin to you being able to work to generate or create wealth. I just wanted to add that, Damon. If you want to add anything to it, you can, but you gotta take your health serious because it's going to impact you in so many other different ways. And as Dame just explained to us, being able to qualify for life insurance or being insurable is directly correlated to your level of health.
You're spot on with that, because many times that even if you are approved, even you have some health challenges, you're rated. And that's just piggybacking off what you're saying. You are rated because life insurance companies have what is called actuaries.
Okay,
Okay.
what is that?
An actuary, all they do is that they're the one that figure out the risk factor with the life insurance. Okay. So when they figure out the risk factor, give you just something that's like it would give you just something that a lot of people can really, they see and some people can relate to. Being a smoker or something that we see, right? Right? Even someone that actually is going to the gym, eating a healthy diet, right? Doing all of the other things from the surface level, but they're smoking. So the actuary says, hey, we see that you're going to the gym, you're a tobacco user. Based on the data that we have actually found in at the age of 50 or the age of 35 in your age bracket, we've determined that the likelihood of a 35-year-old, the likelihood of a 50-year-old is more likely for you to pass away at this particular age. Is more likely for you to pass away at this particular age. So that's what actuary does. It's nothing but just a science, and they have people that go through a lot of, they have people that they actually hire to go through these different algorithms to find out what your level of risk is going to be. That's
God,
all it is.
that's good, man. And I mean to cut you off, but catch the pattern, y'all. Listen to what he said. They're looking at you and seeing how much of a risk or a liability you could potentially be. Where they're concerned, we're giving you insurance is concerned. It's the same thing from a financial standpoint where they use a credit score to do the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go the exact same thing, y'all, this stuff isn't by mistake. So if you go to the bank to borrow money, if you want to get a car or if you want to get a loan for a house, guess what? One of the things, same principle. One of the things they're going to do is pull your credit score, and based off of that credit score, they get a quick snapshot to determine, is this person going to be more of a risk or a liability for us in terms of defaulting on paying this money back if we give it to them, or based on their past history, based on the health of their finances. We know based on past history, if we let them borrow some money, there's a high likelihood that they're going to pay it back, and then we're going to get interest on it as well. So it just makes sense. Like, who would want to put themselves in any type of risky situation? Like, if it was on me, like, I'm hesitant about putting myself in situations where I know there's a chance that I'm going to get burnt. It just makes sense. So you all have to look at the big picture. It's not just, well, if I need money, you should let me borrow money for my car. Or, well, they told me I need to get life insurance and I'm here to get it. So I can't afford this. Why are y'all making it so expensive? But it goes back to your lifestyle choices and how you live in your life. Uh, Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, man.
Man, it's some good stuff. But that's essentially what it is. So, again, just going back to, finishing up with my brother, it's not a given. Life insurance is not a given for you to be able to get. So just going back and debunking the myth about people saying, well, it's too young to be thinking about life insurance. The minute that you can get life insurance on your children, you do that because there's different health complications that we don't look for, but sometimes these things do happen. And even some things that from the health complications that children can live with. But as we talked about before, everybody has an expiration date.
Everybody has an
Everybody has an expiration date. And the stories that I've been in this industry, been licensed for easily over 10 years. I don't know exactly how many years, but I know it's been easily over 10 years. And the stories that I've heard through year after year is mind boggling. You know, many times the sad thing is people always call me. I'm going to say always. Let me take that back. Sometimes people will call me when it's too late because I've had people able to get qualified, whether if they're younger or old at a certain age, able to be qualified, but they'll have a health scare. And immediately when they have a health scare, it immediately goes on your MIB report. If you
MIB.
don't,
What is that?
your MIB is your Medical Information Bureau report.
Never heard
So
of that. What is that?
MIB, everybody has that. Just like your credit score, you have it's your doctor's history, it's your medical history, it's your medical report. So life insurance companies will reach out to your doctors or your physician.
Mm.
They will pull your medical report. They're able to pull your medical report, and that's how when you go through underwriting with the life insurance companies, that's how they're able to determine whether if you are what type of risk that you are. Okay. And even if there's sometimes that people become just like, for instance, I've had a client that kept getting denied, kept getting denied, kept getting denied, kept getting denied. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why she kept getting denied is that because even though she was prescribed this medication, she wasn't taking it. So she called the doctor, had them remove it off her medical report. Okay. Now the life insurance company will say, okay, since you're not taking this medication, which was a medication that people were supposed to take for cancer, he was taking it for something else. Prove that you're not taking this medication. So she went to the doctor, had them to remove it off there. Okay, and voila, she was able to get approved. You get what I'm saying? And this client of mine so happened to be my wife.
All right, Dame, don't get in trouble now. You
Oh,
talking
I get in
house.
trouble.
Don't
I
get in
get in trouble.
trouble now.
I get
Talking
in
house
trouble.
business on my podcast. I
I,
take no responsibility for what happens after you get off of here talking
right,
family
right, right,
business.
right. But yeah, it's she'll tell you that. But the whole point about that is the bottom line is that it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. It's
Mm.
not guaranteed.
Man, this is such a rich conversation. So then we about to wrap up, but I got two more questions for you. So to the person who has been on the fence about getting life insurance, whether it's because of the cost or they just been putting it off, what's one last word or one last plea that you would give to them to encourage them to hopefully take a step forward in securing their life and their future with life?
Okay, I'm gonna use just a little sarcasm right now.
Please.
I've heard, people will be on the fence and they'll put it off and they'll have this thought process. They'll say this in passing. Well, tomorrow is not promised. How many times have people have said it? Well, tomorrow is not promised, but they don't operate that in the space of life insurance because immediately what I've seen, well, a lot of people will have this thought process is that, well, you need to get something in place. The very first thing I've seen so many people operate in, they'll say, "Well, are you trying to kill me? Or are you trying to jinx me?" At, as though that you have a choice whether if you live or die.
Mm.
There's not a this. I know people know this and they understand it, but there's no. The only way out is through death. Death is undefeated. So when people are saying that I'm on the fence, you're putting, especially when you have responsibilities at home, wife, children, or even if you're a single person, even if you don't have any children, you're leaving that responsibility up for somebody. Somebody's going to have to pick up the responsibility that you are being negligent with.
Come on now.
Do you in all fairness, I'm not going to give you a book answer, in all fairness, do you think it's right to leave a responsibility up to somebody else to take care of what you should have taken care of while you were above ground?
God, dog, boy. Pause. Let that sit for a while. Pause and let that sit for a while. Dang,
It's
man,
it,
you
it's
then came
it's
and dropped some nuggets. Or you had something else you wanted to say?
is that fair?
Answer that question. Is it fair?
And we're not talking about um a $20 bill. We're talking about on a low end, depending in some areas, $4,000 and $5,000 just for cremation. On the low end, 4 or 5 thousand. You don't know how many times people will come to me and they'll be angry about that person. They'll get something in place for their family, but they'll be angry with that person that left from that. And what ends up being a financial cancer. Okay, I'll repeat this again. What ends up being a financial cancer because most people are not in position to take $4 or $5,000, let alone $10 or $12,000, and give people a proper burial, a proper send away. They're not in a position to do that. So what does people do? They do something a lot of people end up doing. Put it on a credit card. They commit another 401k.
Perpetually continue to pass that mindset and way of acting and behaving and thinking down to the next generation. That's what we have to stop, man.
All it is when you're doing that, you're bringing about a level of accountability and responsibility to your family and to yourself. Even if you're a single person, if you don't have a family, be accountable to the people that you pick up the phone and say you love them. Is that love?
Boy, you're hitting
That's
hard now, boy. This is that.
but
This is what they call that tough love.
it's we'll say this one last thing. What I found: life insurance is typically your last love letter.
We're going to stop right there. We're going to stop right there. Life insurance is your last love letter. I never heard that before, man. Dame, I appreciate you coming through, man. Tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they have questions. Hopefully, man, this is a good brother here. Y'all make sure y'all reach out to him, even if you have some questions. Him and his wife running a phenomenal business just to help people in the area of life insurance, taxes, a whole suite of other services. Let them know how they can get in touch with you, and I'll be sure to put your information down in the show notes and the comment sections for wherever you may be watching this at.
Absolutely. So you can reach us at our business line number 47. You can also email us at executiveplustaxes@gmail.com. Again, that's executiveplustaxes@gmail.com, where we do appointments every day, literally, even including the Sunday, because this is an essential work. What we do is like an essential worker. So we don't have any days off. The same way in which, like, if someone was on at Christmas and they have, that someone had COVID on Christmas, well, the hospital is still open, right? If the police officers are still on duty on Christmas, I'm still on duty on those days as well. Days like Thanksgiving, Christmas, you name it.
There you have it. So they're here to help you. Now you have to do your part and reach out, take that first step. Dame, appreciate you, man. I'm gonna have you back. It's a whole nother part of this conversation that we could have on the wealth, the correlation between life insurance and generational wealth. But we'll get into that later. But thank you so much, my brother, for coming through, and have to make sure to have you back sooner than later, man. But thank you for the knowledge and gems that you dropped for my audience.
Man, I count it as a blessing, man. I'm grateful. And y'all be well, be blessed. Jarod, love you, brother.
Back at you. Salute.
All
Salute,
right.
man. All right. You all have a good night and take heed to what you heard, okay? Talk to you later.